From Nashville, Tennessee, Inside the Noize podcast with your host, Jenna Hydeman. Here's Jenna.
All right, welcome back. We're Inside the Noize. I have Courtney Whitaker to my left, and Hunter Davis is here.
Hola.
He's another Texan, so we're on episode 2. 2 for 2 on the Texans.
Two
so
Texans.
Excited.
2 Texans.
Yeah,
Very
it's a good
exciting.
So exciting. So we're going to kick this one off with a new segment called Make Some Noise. So what I need you guys to do is tell me something good that happened this week, and we're all going to clap for each other and make some noise.
Oh, this is great. This is like...
So it's like a week high.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, okay. Do you want to go first?
Sure. So it's actually 2 weeks ago, but we're going to use it for this week.
Okay.
We released a music video on Twitter for my single God Broke the Mold. In 1 week, we got 65,000 views.
That is awesome.
Wow.
Yay.
Make some noise for Hunter.
Yay, I'm going to clap for myself. Yay. Yay. I like... You guys.
Awkward long claps. Okay. Well, I'll go. So mine's from today, but I went back to my gym that I took a hiatus from for a month. It's called D1. I went back. Everyone was so nice. They all missed me, and it was great.
That's fantastic. How long were you gone for, you said?
Just a month. I've been a member there for almost 2 years, but I was
man.
traveling a lot this last month, so I took a month off. But I went back, and I'm like, this is why I love you guys. And it was just great.
Oh, good. Good.
Yay!
Yay!
Thank you.
Snaps
you,
or
guys.
claps.
Snaps,
Either
yeah.
one will work.
Yay. Courtney?
My brother's coming into town tomorrow, so that's exciting.
Oh, that is a big yay.
He hasn't been to Nashville before, so I'm excited.
Oh, where from?
Tampa, Florida.
Oh,
That's where I'm
nice.
from.
What are y'all going to do? You have anything planned?
I have no idea. He's kind of go with the flow like I am, so I took Thursday and Friday off of work, and we're just going to do whatever. So
For you. That'll be
so
fun.
much fun.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so then we'll do the Courtney cast. Celebrity gossip from Courtney. Courtney is Creepy Corner.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do I need to bring up my Instagram too and like compare
Do you want to get
celebrities?
some for us? You want to add?
You want to get some? What volume of weird?
Well.
You want to get some? Well, this is quite the gossip starting off right now. Okay, all right, I'm in.
I would love for you to incorporate into this. If
Sure.
you find anything crazy on there, just be like, hey,
I will.
you do that right now as I talk.
I tell you what.
That'd be good.
You talk as much as you want, and I will just
I'm not
add.
gonna
This is
talk
your
that
show, and I'll
much.
just add snippets
I'm
where
not
I
going to talk
feel
that much.
it's appropriate.
So not cool, but I found this article that apparently at the ACMs when Lauren Elena and Kane Brown performed,
Mm-hmm.
it was a very uncomfortable performance for them because the producers made them kind of like feel lovey-dovey even though they're both in relationships. So he was like, I felt really uncomfortable, and I didn't know that they've known each other since preschool, so
Oh, that's cool.
very interesting. I was really geeking out because Miley Cyrus was in town.
Did you try to find her?
That's awesome.
No, they were at Pinewood Social, but I didn't see that until
Do you
later.
think she's a good bowler?
I hope so. I didn't really look. It was her. I follow her sister, Brandy Cyrus, but Liam Hemsworth was with them, so he's a
There you go. That's
sight for sore eyes. And I just wanted to say that I am like seriously obsessed lately with like the Atkins, the Moonies, like all like the families. So like Thomas Rhett and Lauren and their babies, and then Dan and Shay.
They're
Shay's.
outstanding.
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed.
They're goals AF.
Literally just scrolling and seeing their pictures
so
makes
sweet.
my day.
Courtney's putting in applications to be all their nannies.
Basically.
You're going to be an au pair?
Basically.
Yeah, that's great.
Wow, more vocabulary.
Just put it out there. Just put it out there.
So intelligent.
Hunter's been good with the vocab.
I know. I just went through the dictionary before I got in here and was like, what words can I use on this whole thing? Au pair. That's a good one. All right. Nomenclature. That'll work. So I've got 2. I only have 1 left, and y'all don't get to know what it is yet.
Okay, so that's until later.
Yeah, it's for later.
later.
I have
I like
1
it.
more word. After that, totally going back to like my 4th grade vocabulary.
I love it.
Just like, colors and numbers is what I mostly use. It's not bad.
That's my level.
There you go. We'll all be on the same level then.
There you go. And that was the Courtney cast.
Thank you, Courtney.
Oh, yeah.
welcome.
Yay!
Need
Can
more
we just
claps.
integrate
Make
both?
some more noise.
Yay! I think that's how we should end every single segment.
Every
Oh my
single one.
gosh.
There you go.
Just like the 3rd grade thing, like, oh, yeah, good for you, yeah, love that.
I love it.
No, that's not going to work. I'm not into that.
Got vetoed? No.
Vetoed. No good. Okay, Hunter, let's dive into you.
Sure.
Okay. Just give us a little background of like your journey to Nashville and moving here and.
Well, I originally played Division I football right out of high school. All my family was all athletes. My grandfather has an Olympic gold medal in the high jump and played in the NBA. My dad played semi-professional basketball, and so right out of high school, I had a full scholarship, and I did that for about almost 2 years and tore my ACL and that whole story. But I was starting to play music anyways, and I really didn't want to play football. It was just something that I happened to be good at, and they gave me a scholarship for it. And I was actually missing a lot of practices because I was like gigging and showing up real late to practices and missing my morning practices because I was all, hungover from the night before.
Be honest.
Yeah, being honest. And so I switched over to music. I quit doing football and I started doing music full time. And went and got a degree. Amazingly, somehow I graduated.
What was your major?
I was a vocal performance major.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And
fitting.
well, my first major was I was a psych and English major
Oh.
at McNeese.
That kind of
And,
fits too.
I mean, like I said, I only know 3 words. I have 1 left. So that's the amount I got from that degree. But then once I graduated, I decided I wanted to move up here because I couldn't afford San Diego. And because
No
I was
one
born and
can
raised on
besides them.
the coast. Well, no one can, yeah. Especially a poor 22-year-old songwriter.
Right.
And decided to move up here. And I went to TSU for a little bit at their music program. And it just kind of started the whole process. You get up here and you start trying to find out what avenue, what line of music you're going to be able to fall into to try and make yourself as successful as possible. But it's very meandering, obviously. So it's been about 7 years now that I've been up here. But in especially the last 2 years, we cut a record last year. We're getting ready to release. We're doing 3 more songs on it. Decided to do 3 more songs. Probably going to release at the end of the summer. Fantastic producer. One of my best friends' name is Ken Coomer. He did a lot of Will Hogue stuff. And
That's awesome.
yeah, he was the drummer for Wilco, and so we kind of hit it off really well. And they called it a 10-year town. I think they still do.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first moved here, I was like, there's no way it's a 10-year town. There's just no way. And then it is most certainly looking to be a 10-year town. It's a little bit. And but I'm super. My family supports it. That's really a big blessing too. Mom and Dad, my sisters, the whole way they've never not wanted me to do this.
Were any of them musically talented growing up, or like
So
what
my
kind of music
dad,
did you listen to?
my dad was. We have a similar story. So I'm short in my family. Like I said, my grandfather's 7 foot tall, and my dad is 6'10". And but he was playing basketball in Hawaii, and decided he didn't want to do that anymore. He'd torn up his knees, and my mom picked him up at the airport. They'd never met, and they've been married for 40 years. And they were hippies on the side of a river, and he was a songwriter. Came up to Nashville and got a song cut in 2 weeks, and then left.
So it wasn't a 10-year town for him.
Not for him, but a lot of that's how his life goes. Anyways, and so
Not bitter.
yeah, not at all that he was awesome at everything. And but yeah, and my dad was just a phenomenal writer. And he parlayed that into a political career. He became a speechwriter for a guy named Charlie Wilson, who was a congressman in Texas. And a movie came out about him a few years back that Tom Hanks played. It's called Charlie Wilson's War. And so my dad was all kind of behind the scenes of that. Went from being a hippie to a speechwriter, which was pretty cool. So my whole life was him songwriting. He used to wake me up for school playing music for me and stuff like that.
Oh, that's so
So
cool.
very spoiled when it comes to that. for
Yeah.
sure.
That's awesome.
And so, I mean, to this day, he still plays. And he's actually coming to the Key Largo Festival that we're all going to tomorrow.
Oh,
And
fun.
so
he doesn't
exciting.
know that he's going to get up and play.
You're going to surprise
Oh,
him
yeah,
with
for sure.
it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love it.
definitely.
And you're going to Key Largo with some of our
Absolutely.
friends and some of the podcast's previous
Absolutely.
guests.
Jay Hartley is going to be there. One of my wonderful friends, Jared Gregg.
He
Caleb
actually has
Lovely.
the intro to the podcast now. Jared does.
Does he?
Yep.
Oh, that's great. They're all fantastic. Some of my most wonderful friends, and they're just fantastic songwriters and performers too. So, but yeah, I mean, it's been a unique ride, and especially to see Nashville blow up the way that it has in many different aspects. And But to kind of be here, I felt like right at the turn of that, 7 or 8 years ago, to really see it blow up into the kind of city that it's turning into now for a lot of different arts and stuff. It's pretty cool. And but we're getting ready to, like I said, release that album, and we released the music video a few weeks ago on Twitter and did really well. So we're just kind of riding that wave.
Yeah. So wait, did you only release it on Twitter?
Well, we released it on YouTube and
okay,
and we did okay.
But Twitter was where it blew up.
Twitter was where it just kind of took off, and
that's interesting.
It's very
because I feel like I don't use Twitter. I'm way more into like Instagram and then Facebook, and then maybe I check a Twitter.
It's one of those random, and I was so social media illiterate for so long. I was such old school. Just I didn't put any weight into it. Then I realized if I don't, then I probably won't do as well as everyone else. And Twitter, it's one of those things I just looked up, and I started getting a lot of followers on Twitter, surprisingly.
You tweet funny things?
No, not really.
I was going to look you up and read your funny tweets.
No, I actually just used Twitter like I used Instagram. I just like post the same things I do on Instagram. But and we decided to, we had some different ideas of how we wanted to release it on Twitter, and I had a guy help me with that, and we wanted 10,000 views the first week, and we did really well. We, like I said, ended up getting over 60,000.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's still just been kind of trending and doing well, and it's plateaued now, but it was good for that initial one. It just, it happened just, that's the one outlet that it just caught on with,
Very interesting.
and that helped out with the YouTube. We got a couple thousand on YouTube over that week and stuff like that. So it's all about that old that Buddhist thing, cup floweth over. You look up and like, oh, cool, there it is. It's like starting to garner some attention. So I've just been kind of riding that wave for the last few weeks. So
that's so exciting.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool after years to kind of be like, oh yeah, look at this, things are working.
Yeah,
I'm doing things in this town.
Right.
Yeah, okay. See, I told you, like things are good.
How would you describe your music to like someone who's new to listening to you? Because you're from Texas. Is that a big influence on it? Or are you more country, Americana?
Definitely, I would say more Americana.
Okay.
I always say it's like Jack Johnson and Tom Petty had a love child.
Okay.
And it's like a amalgamation of some things, and that's word number 3.
That's a big word. Like I'm just nodding my head like I know what you're saying.
Totally.
Sure. Using context clues.
Just being from the coast, so was raised on the water. That's why I wanted to originally move to San Diego, and I couldn't imagine not living on the ocean. And so it's pretty laid back. It has some rockin' elements too. But I always, when I give that pitch to somebody, like, oh yeah, it's like Tom Petty, Jack Johnson had a love child. They're like, okay, okay, that's interesting. So it kind of sticks in the palate a little bit.
Yeah. Do you want to play us and give us a little taste of it?
Yeah, totally. I'll play a tune. It's called Magnolia. It's the first song on the record, and the cool little backstory behind it is so Ken, my producer, is a drummer, and I was before our meeting, first time I ever met him to play him a song. Someone had told him or had told me that they had a discussion with Ken and how he hates that there's no waltzes in 3/4, and that he's a drummer. There used to be all these, everyone liked to dance and all these waltz. And so I said, oh, I can do that. I can write a waltz. So I wrote a waltz so I could show up to the meeting because he was a drummer. So it was kind of like I was courting him, and so I played it for him. And he goes, "Was that a waltz?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you noticed that?" And so, but I wrote it so I could go into our meeting with a waltz. It's called Magnolia. Muscadine wine and honeysuckle on the vine. A picnic for two as we pick through dandelions. And her summer dress silhouette showed her figure so divine. We're 18 and free, with no cares or worries. Just a kiss from her lips was all I would ever need. Yeah, 'cause we fell in love in the shade of the magnolia tree. Showed those birds and bees something they ain't ever seen, no. Yeah, 'cause we fell in love in the shade of the magnolia tree. Mockingbird cries in the limbs overhead. A blanket on the ground, quilted blue, was a perfect bed. And we were nose to nose and toes to toes, felt like heaven. 'Cause we're 18 and free, with no cares, worries. Just a kiss from her lips was all I would ever need. Yeah, 'cause we fell in love in the shade of the magnolia tree, and showed those birds and bees something they ain't ever seen, no. Yeah, 'cause we fell in love in the shade of the magnolia tree. Yeah, 'cause we fell in love. We fell in love. Well, in the shade of the magnolia tree. Yeah.
So like relaxing.
Yeah, thanks. That's good. Relaxing is good.
Yeah, no, I really liked it.
It's chill. So
It's very chill. I like the vibe.
That's the Jack Johnson-y thing.
Yeah.
And that's that whole beach thing kind of comes into play just a smidgen.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it was funny when I played it for him. He was just looking at me and goes, "That was a waltz." And he was just so, I was like, yes, it worked. That's exactly
You're
what
like, was it? I didn't know.
I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known.
I like played it off like, oh my God. And then later I told him that whole story. He's like, are you serious? Did you court me? I was like, I kind of courted you.
Yes, I did.
And, but it worked out. So it's one of my favorite songs to play. You said to get 2 more songs? 2? We're going to do 3?
We're going to do 3.
Nice.
We're going to do 3 all together.
All together? Cool.
All together, we got 3. But I'm going to interrupt you for another segment.
But absolutely,
because
yeah.
you said Twitter, so this brings back, we tried this segment with Joey, or Jay Hartley, and it's called, what did I call it? Carrie's.
It was Carrie's, like, awkward tweets or something.
My little sister asked me to read her tweets one time on the podcast. She thinks she's funny. So now we're going to call it Carrie's Nonsense and Noise.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, let's do that.
Carrie's Nonsense and Noise. She was on a Twitter rampage these last few weeks, and we haven't read in a few weeks.
Okay.
So here we go. May 1st. Carrie said, going to be a kick-ass week.
Okay.
I hope it was.
Was it? Oh, yeah, that's great.
That's all I have.
I thought there was more to it.
That's all she wrote.
Nice, that's all she wrote.
That was May 1st. Well, then on May 6th, FYI, Cornhole Championships are on ESPN2. I promise you won't be disappointed.
I'm kind of sad I didn't see that tweet because that's actually valuable information that I wish I'd had.
You better follow her. She got 6 likes on that. Impressive.
That's fantastic.
On May 8th, she said, today is going to be the bomb diggity. Go out there and do the thing.
Do the thing, whatever that thing may
Okay,
be.
well, that's what I said. I tweeted her back. I said, what thing? She said, life, Jenna, life. I said,
The life
okay,
thing.
Carrie.
And we hope that everyone went out and did the life
I did.
that day.
instead of the opposite.
Yeah. So that was May 8th. 4 days later, I think Carrie had a downfall. She tweets on May 12th. Got drunk and ate an entire bag of goldfish last night.
Not a bad thing.
It's a thing to do.
That's not a bad thing. Sounds great.
Okay, well, later on, May 12th, same day. I'm in the fork in the road of still drunk and hungover.
Oh,
We can all relate.
many times can relate.
Okay. Again, May 12th.
She's getting it.
She was drunk still.
Prolific today.
If I lay out in the sun, will the alcohol evaporate out of me?
Will it though?
Will it?
Did it?
Did it?
That's-
It's a scientific question that needs to be answered.
One more time, May 12th. Carrie tweets. This is the last one. Why do I walk around like a caveman when I'm hungover?
Don't we all?
I envisioned myself like caveman Jenna.
That was funny. That was a good.
Sad.
Well, if you want more tweets like this, please follow at Carrie Heidemann on Twitter.
Having it done.
And
retweet.
That was Carrie's noise and nonsense.
That was
tweets.
noise and nonsense.
Yep, noise and nonsense.
There wasn't much nonsense there. That was all fairly relatable.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. I didn't want some nonsense. She's talking about
I've done all of
cornhole and goldfish. That's great.
When you said your video blew up on Twitter, I'm like, he must tweet funny things like this.
No,
Nope.
I need to though.
You need to though, yeah.
It sounds. I mean,
Start having
cornhole,
a battle with
goldfish,
Carrie.
Yeah.
For
she
sure,
Respond
yeah.
to all her. She'll be like, Jenna, who is this guy?
This man.
cavemen.
Caveman.
These are all things I can relate to. Hungover.
I read him and I laugh, but
No,
I'm her sister, so
that's sweet that you would do that for her on air.
yeah. I try. She
Is
suggested it.
is she younger?
She is 2 years younger.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're the oldest or you're the middle?
middle.
Oh, who's the? Do you have a brother or sister?
I'm the middle of two sisters.
Middle
I
of
have
two- oh, so there's three sisters.
Yep.
Okay.
One 2 years older, one 2 years younger, and there's me. And then my mom had twins, so I have a little brother and sister who are 6.
Oh, twins are great. My sister just had twins.
Aww.
They're the
Congratulations.
best. Thank you.
Boys or girls, or one of each?
They're fraternal. So she had both. Yeah.
Nice.
And I had
So
prayed.
you're an uncle.
I am. I'm the greatest uncle.
Your first time being an uncle?
First time being an uncle. Yeah.
Nice. So
They're the
exciting.
most amazing creatures on the planet.
Yes.
Hands
It
down.
changes your life.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
And I only have to be with them in a short amount of time.
Yeah, and
so
then you
like,
say, okay, bye.
You say bye.
I'm like, oh my God, this is great. My sister's like, come down and help me anytime you want. And see how much you say that.
How old are they?
They are 6 months now.
Oh, yeah. Enjoy that now.
Oh, yeah, they are.
I have 2 nieces and a nephew that are getting older now, and they talk back. So
Oh, yeah, they're starting
enjoy
to.
while they
They
don't.
get sassy.
Yeah, they're starting to like roll around, and they're absolutely fantastic. I got to go down and my niece's name is Henrietta, so we call her Etta. Henrietta Claire Rauschenberger. And I know that's a
a
lot.
name.
That's a lot. But her nickname is Eclair. Etta Claire. So we call her Eclair. And
like
then my nephew's name is Harland. But cool thing, the reason I wanted to release that music video is that I had partially started writing the song for her before she was born. And there's a little twist towards the end of the music video that kind of, I think, helped with the views. But they're fantastic. I think twins are the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool they have each other. Especially
yeah.
like my mom having twins when we're so much older. Like it was nice that they have each other and
Yeah.
have a sibling.
Yeah. It's and they start feeding off each other. Like one will start crying, and you can already tell they're doing that weird twin thing.
Yep.
Where they're like,
They just
like
know.
they can like sync energies. And I'm like, what? You're like 6 months. How are you doing this? That's amazing.
It's good inspiration for music.
Yeah. And just to know that they're out there now. I know that sounds crazy, but we had for so long. Abby was like had wanted kids and all this stuff, and so like to actually have them now, it's like so overwhelming.
Yeah.
I went back 3 weeks ago, and I got to christen her. So I was the godfather now. So my nickname is Uncle Godfather. I was like, can you just call me Uncle Godfather?
Uncle Godfather.
Uncle
I like
Godfather.
it.
It's good. It's good business.
All right. Well, do you want to play us another one?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
I think I'm going to do a quick guitar change.
Oh, wow.
And
We're fancy.
You're so fancy.
I brought two. Because we're going to do 3. I'm going to play a brand new one.
Ooh, is it on the album?
It's not yet, but it will be. So we recorded these songs last year, and then...
So you recorded all your tracks, and you went back and
So
just
we
decided...
we didn't release... we released the single, God Broke the Mold, and the more that we started talking, we were talking about a release date. I was like, I really have some more songs that I want to put on this record, which is a dangerous and slippery slope because once you start doing that, you could look up and you've had an album for 3 years that you haven't released. But I wrote a song with a really good friend of mine named Ryan Robinette, and he's got some great music out there. He'll be at the music festival with us tomorrow. But we sat down and wrote the song, and it's called Two Hippies at Heart. And it was kind of one of those unexpected tunes. And, yeah. She slips into her heels as I lace up my boots, pour a cup of coffee, and glance at the news. Do what we gotta do. Cause it's back to the grind, don't mind the 9 to 5. At the end of the day, working for each other anyway. Oh, and we remember when we were free falling, had Marley on the wall, and talked until the early morning about nothing at all. Now who we are and what we were seem worlds apart. All we really are, oh, and will always be, are two hippies at heart. Two hippies. And I've been working for the county, she's teaching at the school. Ain't as wild as we used to be, still bend a few rules. Oh, and we remember when we were free falling, had Marley on the wall, and talked until the early morning about nothing at all. Now who we are and what we were seem worlds apart. All we really are, oh, we'll always be, are two hippies at heart. Cause we were free falling and had Marley on the wall. We talked until the early morning about nothing at all. Now who we are and what we were seem worlds apart, but all we really are and always be are two hippies at heart. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yay, snaps. Yay. Do the snaps. We debuted that Friday night at Tin
cool.
Roof. Yeah. Ryan and I wrote it a month ago in 45 minutes. It was just like one of
those that just falls
yeah,
right
you just
out.
sat down and I had the idea and we started, just passing around some lines, and next thing you know, we're like, oh, I think we have a full song. Are we done? And I passed it by my dad, and we kind of wrote on another verse. So it's actually another co-write with my dad. But then that came out, and I brought it to the band, and the next week we were debuting it at Tin Roof when we played last Friday.
How'd the audience respond?
It was great. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those songs that unexpectedly, because you write it so fast and you go and you play, and then people kind of and that's the reason that I want to cutting on this next part of the album is because of the response that we were getting back from people. Were like, we really, really want this tune. So I'm really, really excited to get into the studio and cut
cool.
that. Yeah.
So are you still were you going in still writing for the album, or were you just like sitting down and being like, we're just gonna write something today?
I knew that that I wanted some more tunes, and that song just manifested out of nowhere. And then when I did some, just like this, I would play it with, for some people, some friends. They were like, man, you should really sit down with the band and work that out. So I was like, okay, cool. And then when I brought it to the band, they loved it too. So it just kind of kept having a little bit of a life of its own over a few weeks. And then when we debuted it at Tin Roof, it got a really good reaction from everybody. So that's a good litmus test for how something might do masses wise. Because and that doesn't necessarily mean it will do anything, but it's just the fact that got a little bit of good feedback is always nice. So, and it's always helpful.
Very cool. I liked it.
Liked it. That's what we're going for.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're going for.
Well, Courtney, do you have questions that we can set the record straight on?
Yeah, I do have a couple of them.
Each week we have questions.
Okay.
And we set the record straight.
Okay.
So we answer them.
Okay.
To put it simply.
Okay.
These came from my best friend back home, so sorry if they're a little
Okay.
weird.
Okay.
One is it okay to eat fast food before or after you work out?
Is this just in general, or is this to me?
I think it's for her because she'll drive through the McDonald's drive-through and get a large Coke and maybe go work out before or after that.
I think there's a balance you could find. I think if you go and smash 3 quarter pounders and 20 chicken nuggets and
then go work it out.
A 32-ounce Sprite, you're asking for trouble. I definitely think you could be in for some surprises. I don't know. I generally don't before I work out, but afterwards, a Taco Bell quesadilla is pretty awesome.
Oh, Courtney loves Taco Bell.
Taco Bell quesadillas.
And I did some stalking, and I know you box.
I do, yeah.
I teach at Hot Box.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I was an instructor at Title for...
Courtney goes there.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a blast.
How long were you an instructor for?
A year. Actually, I taught my first class in a year on not this Friday, but the Friday before.
You just popped in at a special special appearance.
Yeah, and I still go, and I do a little bit of Muay Thai, a little bit of kickboxing too, and so they asked me, well, hey, do you want to? It's been a long time. Do you want to just jump in for a class? I was like,
aw,
yeah, I think I would. Yeah, so and it was serendipitous. All right, 4. It was serendipitous because when we looked up, it had been a year to the day that I had taught my last class, and it just happened to fall on the same day.
Aww.
That's crazy.
And so and it was like this. We all laughed about it, but yeah, I was an instructor. I taught the 5:30 a.m. classes so I would get done bartending, and I would just go right from there. I'd go instruct for 2 hours. And so
you'd work overnight and then go into work right after that.
And you just sleep during the day?
It's gonna sound weird. Not really. I'm one of those. I can't sleep all through the day and lose the day. So I lived on naps. Naps for I was an infant. I would just sleep for hours, 2 hours, and I'd get up and have to go do a co-write or have to go to a meeting. But I would, that's one of the reasons I had to kind of pull back from instructing, just because it was, I'd work 3 or 4 days at the bar, bartending, and I'd wake up in the morning. I'd work from 4 in the afternoon to 4 in the morning, and I would come back, change into my gear, get my hand wraps, and then I'd be there at 5. And I would instruct from 5 to 8 in the morning. And then I'd come back and I would get, 9 to 11, and then I'd have to go to a meeting or go to a co-write. And it got pretty taxing.
That's a lot.
And I did that for almost the better part of a year. It was nonstop. But it was, it's amazing. Title boxes.
Yeah.
Hot Box is great too.
Have you been?
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to come to one of my classes?
Of course.
Okay.
When is this going to happen?
Well, I teach every week.
Okay.
I do some nights. I do a lot of the 6 a.m.s, 5 a.m.s.
Okay.
So if you want to come in the morning or at night.
I'll trade you. I'll do one of your classes. You come and do one of mine.
Oh, okay. Are you teaching again?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that I can kind of like hop in and if I give them enough notice, like, yeah, you can come in and hop
deal.
in. Deal?
Deal.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how good you are.
Probably gonna be the best in the class.
Best.
Ask Courtney how good my classes are.
I don't take them.
That's how much she hates them.
Yes.
Really?
True
Why not?
story.
It's just. You don't,
No, I mean, it's a good workout. It's just, it's sometimes a lot.
It
so
is
I
a lot.
try to take others.
It's any time like kickboxing or one of those boxing classes. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when it's in a hot room.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
I love it. Don't get me wrong. But there are moments where I'm like, I don't know if I'm dying because I haven't worked out in a week or because it's
so short.
stupid hot or
But
whatever.
it is nice because I'm used to the heat, and now when I go somewhere else and work out and it's hot, like today at D1 when it was hot, everyone else was dying, complaining. I'm like, what are you talking about? This feels great.
Sure.
You're like, you're crazy. You're crazy, girl.
Hot box is fun. But I did that. Yeah, I think about a year now. But I never really stopped going. I still would go and take a few classes a week, and they're fantastic over there. They're some of my most wonderful friends, and Tyler, the owner, he's a great guy. So they treat me really well over there, and it helps me vet a lot of energy.
Yeah, for real.
A lot of energy
Yeah.
gets vetted out over there. Any more questions?
Yeah, more questions.
More questions?
Last one, and I don't know if she did this the other day or what. Is it okay to roll out of bed and not brush your hair for work if it still has some sort of style to it from the day before?
I don't own a hairbrush, so I think that's
dry
okay.
shampoo it? Are you like dry shampooing it and then like?
I don't even think that she's touching it at all. I think she's just rolling out of bed and going.
What work context? There's so much to this question that. So like
it's
rolling
like
into work, like are we
like a
talking
professional work environment? Like she gets dressed for it, and but like
I think
I guess there was a day
if
where
you can
she
pull
didn't
it off,
brush
then I
it.
say go for it. Let's save
Yeah.
you a few extra minutes in the morning.
I wish that would. I have to do my hair.
Some people have their morning routines that they have to.
Yeah,
they have
that's
to stick
true.
with.
Do you have a morning routine?
For the most part, I love getting up. I mean, this is very cliche, but love getting up, stretching, and drinking my coffee by myself. It's just like that little time before everything else kicks off.
Chaos,
It's
yeah.
just yours.
Yeah.
Quiet. I like slow mornings.
Yeah, and I love mornings though. That's my favorite time.
Courtney hates mornings. I'm a morning person. She's
Are
not.
you a morning person? You're not. If I sleep past 9, I wake up freaking out. I always beat my life. I mean, I couldn't tell you the last time I legitimately slept past 9. I mean, even if I close the night before, I'm up at 8:30 or 8.
No.
I just can't waste. I cannot waste the day. It is not that it's necessarily a waste if you're sleeping in and getting your rest that you need. For me, I just can't. I can't sleep in. It's one of those weird things. When growing up on my mother's side, we had a shrimping business,
Forrest Gump.
yeah, like Bubba
I've
Gump.
never seen Forrest Gump.
Bubba Gump shrimp.
What?
I've never seen Forrest Gump, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Oh man, the context of this whole thing has changed. I just don't know.
I have no idea.
Oh, my
But Courtney does, so continue on. You guys can banter about
you're the
it.
first person I've ever met in my travels.
I've never seen a lot of the key noted movies.
That is I think this interview's done.
That's awkward.
It's so
He's done.
it's bubblegum shrimp, and I had to be up every morning, no matter what, from when I was 7 years old until I was 18.
Yeah.
We had to be up and on the water in the Gulf of Mexico by 5 or 5:30. So even when I was in high school, starting to go to parties and stuff like that, I knew I had to, no matter what, I had to be at the boat, ready to go and get the boat ready. So there was numerous times towards the end of my high school career where I would not go to bed. I just would have to work all day from 5 in the morning until 4 o'clock that evening or that afternoon out in the Gulf of Mexico slinging shrimp and doing that whole thing. So that kind of stuck with me all the way through. Now
makes
till now,
sense.
it's I can't really sleep in. So
Okay, I have one more question.
Okay.
It was submitted online
okay.
by my mom trying to be funny. Sharon Yo Mama is what she put as her last
that's
name. She said, is it okay to use the word, I thought it'd be because you've been using big words, so I think
Okay.
you might know.
Okay.
Is it okay to use the word anyways? Is it really a real word? Anyways.
I mean, I would feel that I use it, but it's more of it's an informal thing. So, well, anyways, and it's just like a very flippant, you kind of use it to just like go into a next,
Change the subject,
a next topic of conversation.
Okay, Mother, it's okay to use
So
it.
I would say,
Hunter says it's okay.
I would say yes. I would say yes, it's okay to use it. I say any Hoosier wetter, and that's another thing too.
Excuse me?
Yeah, that's another.
Come again?
It's just like anyways, well, any Hoosier wetter, and you just move on from it.
How'd you come up with that?
And you do this.
That's
Like he's doing a hand
See, this
flip.
is no one
That's
can see
like-
this, but every time I've said anyways or any Hoosier wetter, that's been this. That's what that is.
It's
If
like,
I do this,
get
that's
out of here.
anyways. That's like, that's anyways.
Interesting.
Anyways.
Anyways.
Anyways, next segment.
Did your mom have a good Mother's Day?
I think so. So I didn't get to go home.
Sorry.
And we were traveling back from Key Largo. Courtney and I went this last weekend for a friend's wedding.
Oh,
So we were just there. We
nice.
just missed you guys.
Nice.
But yeah, I think she had a good time. She had the kiddos. My sisters are both home, so I hope they did something good for her.
Good.
I don't know. I FaceTimed her. That's a lot.
That's all that matters.
Talk to her like once a month. When I call, they usually think something's wrong. They like assume I'm
Does
in
your mom
jail.
follow your sister's Twitter?
Yeah, I need to tell her to.
Oh, I don't think she should.
Yeah.
I don't think she should.
Okay, so we prepped you and said you're going to have off-the-record confessions. These are off-the-record, quote,
Okay.
fake quotes. We have to confess something embarrassing or funny. And we can go first if you need time to think.
Sure, y'all can go first. I'd like to hear something embarrassing. That sounds fun.
Okay, Courtney, please go.
Well, I told Jenna this yesterday because I had to get it off of my chest.
And it was really funny in the
But
moment.
it was great, and I wish I didn't say it because it was a lot funnier yesterday. But I told her I really needed to confess that when we were away this weekend, it was Friday night, I was showering, and I was still a little drunk because we had been drinking throughout the day. And there was like this face cleaning thing that I have never tried before, and it was in the shower, and we
Okay.
were sharing a room with some other girl. So I was like, oh, I think it's hers. I'm just going to try it. So I was going to confess, like, I used her face thing, and then I told Jenna this yesterday. She goes, that was mine.
So
Really?
Courtney,
So I
Courtney was
confessed
like,
I used her.
Courtney's like, I really need to get this off my chest. I like, don't tell me, just wait till tomorrow. And she's like, no, I need to. I used her face brush. I'm like, that was mine.
Yeah. Good times.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Could've been worse,
She like
you know?
cried laughing yesterday. It was pretty funny.
It was great.
It was a good time.
That's not too embarrassing. That's not that
It's not too
bad.
No,
embarrassing.
not too bad.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. It's hard for us because we do this every week.
Right.
Yeah,
but-
so you have to like, you know.
I have to do something like bad the week before and then confess it.
Yeah.
So it's not just embarrassing, it's bad.
Yeah, so mine's bad this week. And I don't. Okay. So we were in Key Largo and our friend Beth Behe, you know her.
I love Beth.
She actually recommended you to be on our podcast.
Really?
Yep. She said he'd be great. Reach out to him.
Beth is fantastic.
So she got married this week and we were at her wedding.
That's really.
Yep. She married a Swiss man.
I knew that. Is that?
And they're all in town this week. So this weekend,
Really?
so if you want to meet them,
Oh, she is.
I don't
she's
recommend
so
it.
talented.
No, I'm
She's a wonderful, wonderful human.
yeah, she's amazing. She's in town this week too.
Fantastic.
Yes, but you won't be. You'll be
I
gone.
will not be here.
But so the Swiss men were at this wedding, and
The Swissman.
the Swiss men, and you know they were doing this thing where they were like putting stuff on their hand and snorting it. They were snorting tobacco. So I tried. Sorry, Mom and Dad, I snorted tobacco this weekend.
Snuff? The
Yeah,
Snuff,
yeah,
yeah.
snuff.
You literally they put it on your hands and they go, this one, and they make you. And I'm like, what the hell's
That
going
is.
on? I actually,
intense.
I actually
How were
saw
your boogers the next day? Were they good?
brown.
Yeah. That's
And that's what I
exactly.
was gonna say. I blew my nose, and like it was like, why? And I'm like, oh yeah, I was
why.
snorting things.
That is-
Yeah.
But I was just with them earlier. I stopped in. I was supposed to have a meeting with a girl, and she's like, hey, I'm actually downtown at the bar with the Swiss men. I'm like, oh.
I like how they're the Swissman. I feel like it's a band.
I was like, okay,
kind of
they're
are.
like a little gang.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like I'll meet you there for like a quick second. So I went, and they were all snorting it at Rippies, and the hostess went and told the manager that they were doing like hardcore drugs,
Right.
Oh,
and they all came
gosh.
up and were like, hey, are
You
you
have to
guys
kick all the Swissmen
like
out.
snorting things? Yeah. And we're like, no.
That's a good one.
But yeah, so if you do you chew tobacco?
I used to for years.
And you quit?
Yeah. It's been
That's disappointing. I'm just kidding.
it's been like almost 2.5 years now.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. I dipped for 6 or 7 years. That was my go-to.
Yeah.
But I sometimes miss it. I used to do it a lot when I would write songs.
Yeah.
I would throw there was that kind of that habitual, oral fixation thing. You throw it a dip in and then start writing. And so that was the hardest thing about, wasn't where I missed doing that. I missed doing when I was writing because I would rarely do it when I was just out.
Yeah.
But when I would write songs and stuff like that or being a co-write, I would always throw one in. I called it a thinking dip. Put it in there. Put my thinking cap on.
Dip.
My thinking Dipson.
Right. Just doing the stuff.
Yeah, it's an interesting experience.
Well, I guess I have to talk about something embarrassing. So I was raised with sisters. I'm the youngest of sisters. And my dad had 8 sisters, and they all had many girls. So my whole family is all women. But I probably have the most pictures of me in dresses than any
That's amazing.
man I know.
Did they do your makeup
Did you
too?
just get their hand-me-downs?
Love it.
Oh, I did. And I have a great pair of wedges that I still wear. Not really. No, but
Only on the
Sure.
weekends.
But they thought I was going to be a girl. And so my parents had prepared for me to be a girl because my father was incapable of having boys. Like, that was like what they thought because of how many girls were in the family. And I came out and I was a boy. And obviously. And
Obviously. Unless you've changed since then.
I have not. The times, as Bob Dylan says, the times, they are changing. But I don't think I am. So being raised with sisters, and they were a fair amount older than me. My middle sister's 4 years older than me. My older sister's about 7.5. And so from when I was 5 until, 19 or 20, that's a joke. That's 5, young, like 4, and all through my childhood, they would just doll me up all the time. That was like a thing.
You were their baby doll.
I was actually, so if you go into my house at any point in time, you'll just see dozens
I'm like, oh, look at all the girls.
dozens of framed pictures of my sisters having to dress me up and cover me up in makeup and stuff like that. So, but that's not necessarily embarrassing. That's just kind of is what it is. But it is. I'm proud of it.
You're proud of it. That's all that matters.
That's right.
That was good.
Was that a good one?
I liked it.
That was
a good one.
That was
I
a
want to
good
see
one.
some Throwback Thursday photos on your
You
Instagram soon.
want me to? All right,
Yeah.
I'll do that. I think I have one I can pull out of the record shop for you. Pretty good. But,
Can't wait.
One more? What do you think?
One more.
One
One
song?
more. If you've ever seen Courtney and I downtown, which you may have and just not known, we do this thing where we chant, "One more beer before the war. One more."
Where does it come from?
Don't know.
I have no idea.
We just started saying it one time, and now we do it all the time, and we'll yell it.
It just became a thing.
One more.
One more.
Yeah.
Cheerio.
One more beer before the war.
Cheerio.
Cheerio. Be your trim this week.
We're going to come and be like, one more beer, please.
I'll know now.
One more beer.
If I hear that in the distance, I'll know that's wrong. I'll be like, uh-oh.
I know these girls.
Things are about to get weird.
Don't let him
Things
in.
are about to get weird.
Well, I'll play God Broke the Mold, which is the one we did the music video for and released it on Twitter. And it's the first of many singles that'll come out. And so, yeah. Did you get a chance to check it out? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I did my homework, too.
You did your homework? I did not do my homework.
See, I don't ask in this... I don't think it's still come off as mean or rude, but I don't ask someone to come on the podcast unless I know I'm going to enjoy their music. Because I don't want to sit here and be uncomfortable the whole time.
Or do you want to do one episode
and be like, holy cow, what did we get ourselves into? How am I going to respond to this? I can't lie. I'm a terrible liar. I'm going to tell them it was great. And they're going to be like...
I personally think that you should have one episode that's like that. Or you should set it up and have it where she doesn't know, be like, this person is fantastic.
Courtney, I booked them. Are you ready? I'll sit here and I'll be putting my head down the whole time. I probably won't make eye contact.
Well, but even those people, they're playing for their mamas, and that's all that matters.
Oh yeah, it's alright. Subjective. It could be.
That's
good,
right.
You know?
We're all in it together. There's enough room at the table. girl, you're a saint, an angel sent to earth, more than I deserve. You're everything I ain't. God broke the mold when He made you. I see you sitting there. Well, oh my, how you shine. Well, I guess prayers do get answered sometimes. God broke the mold when He made you. Well, the Lord grew tired, feeling uninspired. So He got up and gathered all His tools. He threw away the blueprints, ignored His own instructions. Said, it's time I made something new. God broke the mold when He made you. It's true. Well, the Lord grew tired, feeling uninspired, and He got up and gathered all His tools. He threw away the blueprints, ignored His own instructions. Said, it's time I made something new. God broke the mold when He made you. Oh, thank you.
You can keep playing the guitar. It's fine.
There it is.
Oh, just keep playing it. How would you have felt? So we're going to try this on a guest sometime.
Oh, God.
How would you have felt if you would have came in here, sat down, and we would have just hit on you the whole time?
Y'all weren't doing that already? That'd be pretty funny.
Oh.
And in the whole time, that was the intention.
Like,
was
if Courtney was just like, boy, look at them eyes.
that would? I mean, I think if someone could pull it off, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
If not, unless they were like, I'm married.
Oh,
and then it'd be
yeah.
like,
Well, we definitely wouldn't do that to a married man, but
Yeah, we would.
yeah.
We'd do our research
you
first.
do your
Yeah,
research.
yeah.
You do your homework.
I'd find out who's single first.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
kidding. I don't know.
Lies.
Lies.
Courtney cast.
Lies.
She knows it all.
Another day before the wall.
Yes, we're looking at that already.
I'm just gonna say that for no reason. That has
Yes,
no context.
Just cause.
Just do it like this weekend when you're playing. Like, one more beer before the war. And I'm like, what war?
What
are you talking about?
Why is this? What are you? Is it World War I? What's that accent? That has no nationality.
I don't even know what it is. Oh, it'd be great.
Well, once again, thank y'all for having me.
Thank you for being on our podcast and coming.
Thank you.
Where can they listen to your music, follow you, get that song,
Yeah,
watch the video?
that's on all major platforms: Amazon, Spotify, iTunes. That's the God Broke the Mold. You can go check it on YouTube. The music video on YouTube, on Twitter. My Instagram handle is Hunter Tynan, Tynan
Not
Davis.
Tyne.
Not Tyne.
I emailed him the wrong name today.
And,
And I caught myself and I was hoping he wouldn't notice.
my own name. I hope you don't notice that your own name is misspelled. Oh, you noticed it? I didn't spell your name right? But yeah, so
It was a trick to make sure you read the email.
Totally, and I did. That's the one bit of my
Good
homework
job.
I did. But yeah, Hunter Tynan Davis. That'll be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of that good jazz. And we're getting ready to go back in the studio in the next month or so, 2 months, and record more songs. So hopefully releasing the album by September.
Album in September.
That's
Be
right.
ready.
And then we're doing Key Largo this week, and then we're back, and I do June 23rd will be the Listening Room Cafe. I'm trying to think some other dates that are coming up. But that's all on that. That's on my website as well.
Yeah, and the podcast lasts forever, so people can be listening 5 years from now.
Oh, fantastic. In perpetuity?
In perpetuity.
More big words.
5. All right, I gave 5.
All right.
I
I'm
did
going to need a
5.
vocab lesson.
Killed it, like, in my head. I'm like, nailed it. Nailed it. And, but no, thank you. I mean, it's awesome what y'all are doing, and working with Alan and Artist Noize. He's so talented, and he's done a lot of great stuff for a lot of my friends and myself. So this is a great thing, and artists really appreciate it. To have a platform and people be interested in what we're doing. So it means a lot to me to be able to come here and talk about the backstories and to have fun with y'all. So I really, really appreciate it. Y'all are doing a cool thing, and don't stop. Just keep going. As we say, stay in the saddle. So stay in the saddle.
Stay
You
in
can
the
fall
saddle.
forward, you can fall backwards, just don't fall to the side. So that's my one little Texasism.
Give me more. Give me more Texasisms.
Another beer before the war. Nailed it.
Nailed it. All right. I don't know how we used to sign off. We were called Just for the Record, and we just switched everything over, and I don't know how we're signing off still.
Should you do another beer before the war?
One more beer before the war.
Is it
I don't know if you can, yeah. I don't know if
We
you
gotta all
can
say our
sign
names
off.
when we sign off.
okay?
Okay. Do you have any creative ideas?
I can say my name.
It's been on her.
So what do you think you should say? I'm gonna say my name.
Now
That's my part.
That's what I'm gonna do. You tell me about you. What are you gonna do?
So much pressure.
Should we not just sign off and just leave it open just forever?
I think we should be like,
Just Irish goodbye and just get up
this
and
is
never.
Inside the Noise, but we're gonna be quiet now. Shh.
There you go.
Everyone,
Awesome.
There you go.
everyone whisper their names.
And it's just
No, let's not do that.
And now there's no noise.
Let's not do that.
And now there's no noise. This
Now
has
there's
been
no noise.
Jenna.
And Courtney.
Hunter Tynan Davis.
Thank you.
You are welcome.